Ois Tes Vav we started yesterday. So Ois Tes Vav begins with, it's all the analysis and a revelation of a new depth of meaning in the classical statement in the Eitz Chaim, that Oirin Sof L'mayla adin ketz or L'mata adin tachlis. The Chiddush of L'mata adin tachlis was explained at length previously. We explained it yesterday and the day before, which all points to there has to be, and there is obviously a Chiddush in the statement L'mayla adin ketz, which does not mean what we would assume superficially that it means, because namely that God's infinite light, pre-tzimtzum, is infinite. That's not what the Zohar is saying. That's patently obvious. The Zohar is telling us something that is not. In the same way that lamata mat adin tachlis, the unfathomable quality of the Ein Sof lamata, which we explained, is unfathomable, so too there is something unfathomable ad ein ketz in Maila, and it's not that it's simply infinite. That's how the Zohar was understood for the hundreds of years till the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimer, frankly. And until, because there wasn't time to understand it any other way, until the Rebbe explains it in Tavshin Chafei, which we explained yesterday as the foundation of the whole Maimer. So we'll revisit it, because now the Frierdiker Rebbe is quoting now after the Zohar. Did I say Eitz Chaim? The statement is from the Zohar. Zohar and Tikkunei Zohar. That's the classic source. It's 5 prokim in the Frierdiker Rebbe's Maimer devoted to this statement. And the point of it all is that Lamaila Adin Ketz, that's, excuse me, the oitzer, the treasure that is given by the king when the state is at stake and all is abandoned, and the oitzer which the king has personally amassed and which his forefathers has amassed, which nobody ever sees, is bizbuz, is given without cheshbon, is cast out, and all of it to reach and empower the foot soldier in the trenches to achieve total victory, which the king himself in the end will give his life. When it comes to the very core survival and mission and identity of the state. The Rebbe said, actually, in the early Maimorim, that the stalkus of the Frierdiker Rebbe was this, that the Melech is mashlich chayav mineged. The king casts his own life, as it were, before him, in order to achieve what has to happen. And if you'll ask the question, but if the king is giving up his life, then all is lost. All is lost. Surely that is the end. So we all know the answer to that, at least in theory. Adarabe yatib b'chayohi, that's the whole Perek Chav Zayin in the Geras HaKodesh that the Rebbe spoke endlessly about after the Estalkus of the Frierdiker Rebbe, which we understand obviously now applies to us in an even more critical way and a deeper way, because things only deepen as we get closer to Bias HaMashiach. So this whole Maimer of the Frierdiker Rebbe, the last Oisias that culminates in Ois Yud Zayin, from Yud Gimel to Yud Zayin, is all to explain this Oitzer that is given through the Pekidei Choyel, the officers which are the Rebbeim, but it's all not for them. It's there to give to the soldier, you and me. In our Necham against the Yitzhahara, in our Necham against the Shtus, the Klippe, in our Necham against the world, it's the Sheker, and to bring Geula. To transform the Sheker into a Keresh, into a Kesher, the deepest Kesher with the Eibishter. And the Keresh, the boards that make the Mishkan, the Dirullah Yizbarach. So to understand this Oitzer, what is the Oitzer? The Oitzer is conveyed in these words, the Maila Adin Ketz. That's the Oitzer. To understand that was a whole arichis in what Lamata Adin Tachlis is. And now he's beginning to explain L'mayla Madi Niketz, which yesterday we laid the foundation. Now he takes us through the whole Mishakasa B'Etz Chaim. So yesterday we quoted the Eitz Chaim. So first the Zohar, then the Eitz Chaim. And the Eitz Chaim says, there has to be crystal clear in our heads, the way the Eitz Chaim describes the whole process of creation in words which are deceptively simple and open to gross misinterpretation that many G'dol Yisrael did misinterpret. What does mean tzimtzum and what's oir and what's mtzias? These are all simple words. We're talking about God, and they need to be stripped totally of their external meaning and understand them at their depth, which in the end makes the simple meaning much clearer. We see this. That Chassidus reveals the depth of whatever subject is dealing with, the likus shebedover, and then the pshat level is a whole new transformation. Das mamish. At the pshat level, it wasn't exactly that. But Rabbi Chassidus, the pshat becomes the pshat, the drush, on the contrary. But that's not for our discussion now, because that's etzem. Essence illuminates manifestations. It's at once beyond them all, but then illuminates them all, like the atom, as we explained. At any rate, so let's not get distracted. It's not a distraction, but we need to learn, right? So he quoted the Eitz Chaim. The Eitz Chaim said these words. I'll just say it in translation. Before the Netzalim emerged, the simple supernal light filled all existence. That means to say the revelation of the Ein Sof. That's the end of the quote of the Eitz Chaim. The Rebbe explains it means was the Gilui of Ein Sof, meaning, quote, what was felt, the pshitus is the Ein Sof. That is the experience. Whose experience? It's in theory, as it were. But Metzias and Yeshus, being and Yeshus, selfhood, is not felt at all. Meaning, I'm translating directly. This is the Fitike Rebbe. That there was the Gilui of Ein Sof HaBlikvul. So we need to get the flow chart. The Zohar, the Eitz Chaim. The Fitike Rebbe just elaborating on Eitz Chaim. And now the Avodas HaKodesh quoted yesterday. The Inyan Bezeh, to understand this, the Fitike Rebbe brings the Avodas HaKodesh, who says the famous statement that the Infinite One, in the same way that he has the ability to manifest infinitely, he has the ability to manifest in a finite way. And it's all him. Which is, finite for us is chisaron. No, it's limited. But he concludes with his famous words. For if you will say, Shim Toimar, everybody knows this by heart. Shim Toimar, sheyesh lekeich bebilti bagvul ve'ein lekeich begvul, harayat machasib shleimusa. If you say he manifests, he has the koich, only the ability, as it were, to manifest is infinitely and not in a finite way, you detract from his perfection. Vein sof shleimusa de kula. And the Infinite One is absolute perfection. Now let's continue. That is the Avodas HaKodesh. Now Pirush, we're picking up the word Pirush. Yeah, it's the first word of the line, friends, and it's by, I don't see any number. There are no numbers here. Okay, you see it? It's the third way down. Pirush, the Shleimus Ein Sof. The Shleimus, the perfection of the Eibishter, who Koilo Bligvul Ugvul, incorporates infinite and finite, even though, friends, in their own worlds they are incompatible. That's the world, they cannot coexist. The world of Bligvul, Gvul, is absolutely no significance. It is nothing. In the world of Gvul, Bligvul is also ayin, nothing. It's beyond me. It's not finite. It's just not my world. But Ein Sof, the Eibishter, incorporates both. Now, we explained yesterday. So gewaltig geschrieben. So why don't you just manifest both at the outset? Simultaneously, we're not talking Zman, we're not talking time frames, we're talking in Inyan. What was the answer? Adam, you said it, you repeated it back yesterday. Why doesn't God do that? Because he has this inexplicable, which cannot be explained, chas v'shalom, like God cannot be explained. Why there is God? There is no answer because there is no question. Questions only exist in the world of time and change and flux. Beyond time, there are no things are, and that's it. And the only thing that is God. So likewise, his desire, there's no reason for that desire. Chas v'shalom. It's nisave. He decided. Free choice, free of all considerations, because there are none for God. He created them all. He's utterly beyond them. So as Adam is saying, this Ava Kadosh Baruch Hu, since the Eibishter wants to did it, but he therefore, first of all, he wants this whole thing called creation. Why does God have to create? Nisava. He's not a creator. He's not an artist that needs to express himself. To be the creator is a tzimtzum. That's a descent. So, but he decided. Nisava. He decided because he decided. He decided he wants a creation, and what kind of creation he wants to do it, and in the tachten, the whole avodah. So to make a tachten, you have to have an alien. And in order to have an alien, you must first then manifest infinite. That's now designated as alien. From whose perspective? Not from God's, but from our perspective that will emerge in the world of tzimtzum and tachten. And that's all we're going to know is finitude. And we look in awe at wonder at infinite, and that's alien. That's close to God. That's godly. That's our perception, which he wants us to have as a tachten. Then through Avodah to reveal, no. Adarab, and it's the whole point. I'm not going to repeat yesterday's shir, but the whole point is that Adarab, Dafke in the Helem, that's where the Etzem is revealed because of the chidush of it. You would never think that God could be manifest equally and expressed in finitude. Therefore, expresses his shleimus more. But this is all the divine design that we all discover this. So it's Dafke in the Helem. And then we reveal ultimately that Helem and Gilead, it's all the same. So therefore, Atzilus and Ein Sof gets transformed through our Avodah. Never mind Atzilus, Ein Sof gets transformed. Transformed in what sense? That in the Ein Sof is revealed the Koyach HaGvul Mamash then, through our Avodah. That it's all him. Let's continue in the text. So explain to Fidik Rebbe, the Lifnei HaTzimtzum, so this is the whole process. What drives this is the Nisava Kodesh Baruch Hu, Liyos Le'dir B'tachtoinu, to be a tachten and an alien. And this is how it works. So Lifnei HaTzimtzum, Hoyu Giloy and Tzaf Abligvul. Therefore, pre-Tzimtzum, what's revealed there? And Tzaf Abligvul. So what's the first primal manifestation of God, the infinite? That sets the tone. It's all because Allah b'rtzonit have a tachten, the way the tachten should view things, and the tachten will view infinite as more than finite. It's all rooted in the b'chiras ha'atzmos v'dire b'tachtonim. I'm going to say a very strong statement. Gentlemen, I hope you're listening to what you're doing. That will clarify matters. You can learn to do this for 30 years and 100 years, 50 years, 40. So scientists don't start everybody and make a deep error, or at least this has to be tweaked. Because in Pashtus, this is how we learn Seder Stalshalis. How does it work? First is Ein Sof, and then the Tzimtzum and Ishtalshalos, and then at the end comes Elam Hazeh, and at the end, Mamash, end of creation, day 6, man. Comes to the end of the line. The emes is the opposite. What Allah b'ritzoynai is man, the way we are in our gvul, neshamas and gufim. I want to dir b'tachtonim, and you're the dir. And therefore everything comes backwards. Because I want the dir b'tachtonim is going to be an alien and an sof and a seder shtalshal in the whole business. All because of you. It's all your fault. Because the Eibishter wants to dir b'tachtonim, and you and me here lamata. Therefore, the whole ishtalshalis, and therefore the Ein Sof, and therefore, because that all creates alien, exquisite alien, giluyim, helem. But he wants in the helem, and in the helem we should reveal that the helem is just as much him as bligvul. So bligvul gets transformed. Bligvul is not a virtue, and helem is not a chsaron. Ultimately, it's all him. That's the ultimate kavanah, which you and I have to bring about through working through dafk in the hell. That's where the big news lies. That's where the big breakthrough is. And when the breakthrough happens in connecting to Atzmas Lamata, then the breakthrough, there's ripple effects in the holy Shtalshalos. They stop looking askance at us like, then all of a sudden, oh, thank you, Gival, we thought. That's Silas. You connected, you revealed Atzmus to us. We were getting a reflection. Thanks to you. Holy Shtalshalos is beholden to the Iskafia and the Avodah and Machshava Dibur Maisa of you and me Lamat. Which is why the Gemara says when God created man, the angels trembled. Because they somehow sense that they're on the line here. That somehow their faith and their whole place and identity and everything is all in our hands. Okay, let's learn. Let's learn the text. So, yeah. So, before the tzimtzum, what was revealed, in the words of the Fitik, what was nirgash, what was felt. The Irakvul is there. God's revealing himself, so everything is there. But what's nirgash is the Ein Sof habligvul. And that God can express himself in finitude, that's concealed. Why? Because he wants to create a tach. Zeld says the Fitik Rebbe, and this is the meaning what the Eitz Chaim said, quoted earlier. Alien Poshod, the outset was this simple supernal light. Ein Sof habligvul, that's the infinite light, which fills all. This has to be explained, but I'm not going to. Mokim, Metzios, Geval, these are really finite words, and there is no finitude there. But at any rate, that's all he posts him. Leave that. But at any rate, what's experienced then is only what's felt then. The Irakvul is latent and not expressed at all. What's revealed there is God's infinite, boundless revelation. And the Fidik Rebbe is like, hammers this home. The Koyach HaGvul Shebein Sof Shebchinas HaMetzius Vayeshes, but the Koyach HaGvul, the finite God's ability to manifest in a finite way, which is Shebchinas HaMetzius Vayeshes, Metzius, an entity, a thing, Vayeshes, in a sense of self. Lo ya nirgish klal, not felt at all in lifnei tzimtzum. But then what happens? Now the tachten, now that's alien. Now tachten starts to kick in. Then comes the tzimtzum. Hinenis alim ha'oid ein sof. The infinite property of God's revelation now becomes concealed. What emerges now is gewalt. And And there's this radical now shift of what is what's felt now as a given, but Pshitos now means as a given, is existence. Is selfhood and metzius and being. And the infinite is not felt. Even though the truth is b'pnimius, as a shemayim v'esaratz alimale, I feel heaven and earth. But the tzimtzum causes the conscious eclipse of that, our conscious experience of it, the conscious experience of creation. Says the Frierdiker Rebbe, this is critical. But the tzimtzum is only from our perspective. From our perspective, there's now an alien, and we're a tachten, and we don't know. We call the alien ayin because we have no beyond us. We could even ignore it. All the way down the line, it could be ignored. That's the worst insult. Just to ignore. Walk around life, that doesn't, ignoring God altogether. Not chas v'shalom, not antagonistic. You're not fighting him. That God to be happy with. Give me an argument. Ignore me. But that's what he wants. That's the worst thing that happened in a marriage. You're arguing, I mean, you're relating. There's hope. You can make peace. But you ignore, that's already radical. That needs a big shift. That needs a big dose of humility to break that deadlock. But that's what he wants. And then when you break that deadlock with a little bittul, hit number 6, please. Thank you. When we break that with a little bittul, then the connection is, a whole new level. A whole new level. Continuing in the text. So, but the tzimtzum, this whole concealment and distance is only from our perspective, which he made. But from the Eber's perspective, the master klal, the concealment, the koach doesn't conceal him at all. That's me. The marshal, he's going to give a marshal in a minute. Okay, so he's not gives a marshal. He hit it twice, so the guy hears a kind of a sound, he don't know how to come in. Is it the same person? No, if you hold it down enough, it works. He hit it 2 times, he hears a boom, he gets the message to open the door. So pick up the phone, speak to me, he hears you. Tell him, pull and push the door.
Yeah, that's it.
That's
There
it.
you go.
Okay. So, but for the Eibishter, there's no tzimtzum at all. And God's presence illuminates, as it were, is present. Post-tzimtzum, just like pre-tzimtzum. Or kamaim, like we say, where do we say this, friends? We're about to say it if you didn't say it already. You are before creation, and you are the same post-creation, with absolute equanimity. Master klal, and your all-pervasive presence has not been eclipsed at all as a result of the tzimtzum, only from our perspective. Now, Moshel. The Moshel. Like a teacher is giving over an idea to his Talmud, the very interesting thing here, friends. So based on the Gemara in Tainus, he wants, the whole story there, that his plants, his growth be like him. He wants his Talmudim to be on his level one day. He doesn't want to be the mashpia forever. They be beholden to him. He wants him to grow and be independent and like him. But in order to get there, and that the recipient should receive the ashpah, which is given, that which the Rav is giving over, what does he have to do? He has to remove the way he understands the concepts completely. He cannot convey it that way. And he comes up with an idea that is the fiyadach, that is proportionate to the recipient. Moreover, we're talking about, friends, we're not talking about, your standard teacher who's just a little bit older, learned a little bit more than you. So that's not what we're talking about. So about emes Rav, emes master was in a whole different level. So moreover, and he has to make a whole lot of filter the idea through many filters, but they should be able to convey this profound insight that he has, convey it in a way that is palatable to the makabel. But when the teacher, so I'm asking your friends, while the teacher is saying the moshel or whatever, he doesn't invoke the moshel of a moshel. He invokes a moshel of a simpler idea, simplified. When he's saying that simple idea, while the teacher is saying it, is the idea, the depth of it lost on him while he's saying it? No. Even though the makabel is only getting externally this simple idea, simplified idea. So the tzimtzum only from the vantage point of the makabel. But for him, it's not a tzimtzum at all. So as a manner of speaking, kavayochel, we're using this parallel to explain Lamaila. Let me just ask you a question. How can we dare use a mashal in our world for Lamaila? What's the answer to that? It's what's the word? Preposterous. Did I say it right? Luck. Certain questions you're going to go good. How you talk? Beide, nivre. Your mashal from the nivre, just bein areicht for the beide. What's the answer, friends?
The Atzmos is in the Nivra also.
That's from his perspective. We can't draw our world and make that a model to understand the way the Eibishter works. The answer is yes, because B'Tselem Elikim Nivra Adam, and the whole Seder Shtalshalus from Ein Sof is all reflected in the way we work, which is why the whole Tanya, to understand the way this Sviras Lamayel is, to understand the way the person works the matter.
Lipsori Echselika.
Let's make God in our form. That verse is the most, it's a dangerous pasuk of Vayochel. Rashi says, maybe just consult with the angels and let those who want to make a mistake. To God forbid it's a duality or plurality Lamaila. So why do that? Because that's what happened. The Eibishter is making man dafke in his chosen image. That God has no image. All these sviris and midas are his choices, we explained earlier. But now that he chose to reveal himself that way, chesed, gevura, and so on, and they're divine. And we're made in that image, standing for Leid himself. Every aspect of the Mailish is reflected in the person. Therefore, we should look in the way mipsori, from within my flesh, says the other Melech, because the nefesh and the guf, for that matter, and the guf, it's physical, 613 components, every part of it is all a reflection of this divine system that God has chosen to manifest himself through and in and by, and it all starts with the Ein Sof Lifnei HaTzimtzum. Continuing the mashal tomorrow. We're going to conclude the Be'ez Hashem.